Peace everybody, back on another video. You can find out if someone's a narcissist by asking one question. So all you have to do is ask one question, and that's it. And that's how you could tell if somebody is a narcissist or not. So whatever that question is, will trigger them and let them hear what you have. Let them speak, and then you can do whatever with them. But as you can see, here is a guy in the picture with his cell phone, obviously. I guess somebody must have asked him a question or whatever that triggered him or whatever. What if you were able to figure out if someone was really a narcissist by just asking them one simple question? Can you imagine how easy that would be? We would no longer have to suffer through the pain of getting involved in a relationship with a narcissist. Yeah, so what if you were able to figure out if someone's really narcissist? Well, you need to ask them a question, and can you imagine how easy that would be? So whatever question you got in mind, ask them, and that will trigger them. We would no longer have to suffer through the pain of getting involved in a relationship with a narcissist. So yeah, so if whenever question you ask them, that's how you could tell if they are or not. And if they are, say goodbye to them, block them, kick them out, kick them to the curb, do whatever. And according to science, this is actually total possible. Self-centeredness and self-confidence can often be confused with narcissism. It is true that people who have an inflated sense of self are usually narcissistic. Yeah, so all they care about really is themselves. They don't care about nobody else or anything. They say, oh, well, I want to be your friend, this and that. No, they don't. They want to set you off in a negative way, so this way you can respond to their negativity. And a lot of times it doesn't work because they say, oh well this and that, yeah, okay, whatever. And according to science, this is actually totally possible. Self-centeredness, which the trolls are self-centered because they don't care, and self-confidence can often be confused with narcissism. It is true that people who have inflated sense of self are usually narcissists. So the people who are only care about themselves, they're the narcissist kind of people. However, asking your favorite arrogant friend this one little question will help you in determining whether or not they're actually a narcissist after all. So if you have a favorite arrogant friend, whoever your best friend is or whatever, ask them a question about whatever. It will help you in determining whether or not they're actually a narcissist after all. So just ask a random question about anything that will trigger them. In 2014, research found that typically researchers studying narcissist traits rely on a 40-question survey in which respondents choose from one or two options. So this is what the research had found in 2014, that typically researchers studying narcissist traits rely on a 40-question survey in which respondents choose from one or two options. So there's like 40 questions, but you can pick out, I don't know, maybe one or two, and that's it. For instance, some of the options will usually include the following: I prefer to blend in with the crowd, a narcissist response, versus I like to be the center of attention, a narcissistic response, or the thought of ruling the world frightens me, a narcissistic response, versus if I ruled the world it would be a better place, a narcissistic response. So the narcissistic are the bad ones or whatever, but the narcissisms, they're, I don't know, not so much bad, but you just have to compare the two of them, because they want all the attention, these narcissistic people, and they're not getting it, because they think, oh, they're the kings and queens of everything, when they're not. The study says participants had the option of rating their agreement on a scale of 1, not very true of me, to 7, not very true to me, because narcissists are confident in their answers, and basically everything they do, they would likely tell you objectively what kind of person they are. Overall, the score just reveals where one would fall along a spectrum compared with others in the population. So you got participants that had the option of rating their agreement on a scale of 1, which not very true of me, to 7, very true of me. So the liars are the ones that do all the causative chaos and everything on social media and everything. Because narcissists are confident in their answers and basically everything they do, they would likely tell you objectively what kind of person they are. Yeah, so they'll tell you what kind of person they are. Say, for example, that they are saying things about you, this and that, and then they come out and say, oh, I didn't say that, I didn't do that. Yeah, okay, keep telling it, and they're the ones that are lying. So, and people are just ignoring the liars because they don't believe them. The researchers determined that this one particular question on the longer test could determine whether or not someone is a narcissist. To what extent do you agree with the statement, I am a narcissist? Note, the word narcissist means egotistical, self-focused, and vain. So that's what they are. They're self-focused and vain. So that's what a narcissist means. Ultimately, they found that narcissists could really care less if you find out that they're narcissists. As one of the study's authors, Brad Bushman, puts it, narcissists aren't afraid to tell you they're narcissists. They're not embarrassed about it at all. Yeah, so they're not embarrassed to say, oh, I am narcissist. I could say whatever I want to say and this and that. So they're not ashamed of telling you the truth. Ultimately, they found that narcissists could really care less if you find out that they're narcissists. As one of the study authors, Brad Bushman, puts it. So that's how he had put it in that kind of wording. And bad news for millennials, because the study found that men and younger people usually scored higher on the narcissistic scale than anyone else did. Bushman explained, the self-esteem movement, I think, is a big part of that. Also, I think social media provides a venue for people to project themselves to very large audiences. Yeah, so the trolls and haters, they project their problems onto everybody else, and so they don't take responsibility for their own actions like they should, because they want to blame other people for all of their problems, and it's not nobody else's problem but their own. This is why they think they're all big and bad on the internet, this and that, when they're just little kids playing around too much on the internet. That's how these grown adults are who are haters. They're acting like little kids, 2-year-olds, instead of a grown-ass person. Excuse me for saying it, but it is the truth. Learn to grow up with these grown people that'll that are going out here attacking other people for no reason at all. And nobody's ever done nothing to them. It's just pathetic who these people really are. All they're doing is to projecting themselves onto you for a very large audience, so they can get their super chats and that. Seriously, it's not worth paying attention to. Ignoring them is the best part to deal with. So the best way to figure out if someone is really a narcissist or not is just ask them blatantly, because they aren't ashamed to say yes. In fact, they'll be pretty proud of their honesty. Yes, so if you just ask them whatever question you want to ask them, they'll be pretty proud of their honesty. Make them tell the truth instead of lying, because all these liars are just projecting all their problems onto you, this and that. Oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. Yeah, okay, keep telling them lies, because that's what they do. They lie. And here you're falling for them. No, not a good idea to fall for these narcissist people who are lying all the time because they think they're all this and all that when they're not. It's sad that these kind of people are on the internet 24/7 behind a keyboard talking about people all day long, which they have no proof of anything whatsoever, because they're jealous and they think that it's okay, and it's not okay. They're the ones that need help. The same way with the millennials too, because they're not exactly innocent either. They project all their problems onto people as well, about their problems, and we don't got nothing to do with it. But yet here they want to say, oh well, it's all this person's fault, that person's fault, blah blah blah. No, it's not. It's your fault. You created it. You fix it. Simple as that. And this is why they think they could do whatever they want to you by using you for this and that. Stop letting them do it, because they are not worth the time of effort of anything whatsoever. Leave your comments below. I am out.